of Beers, Bourbon, Whiskey. Of course, I got my man Bo in the building.
Oh, sure.
And of course, it's me, man, your boy Q Lewis, man, holding it down. We are live from the 48205, in case you didn't know. So yeah, we're in week 6. So thank y'all for hanging out with us so long here. And don't forget to make sure that you do follow us on Instagram. That's going to be Beers, Bourbon, Whiskey. And on the same thing on Facebook as well. So make sure you follow us there and check us out on YouTube and hit that subscribe button. Today, man, week 6, we're moving on to Russell's Reserve. All right, and that's where we're at now. And there's a few different versions. All right, I'll let Bo get a little bit more into detail about the one we're actually taking advantage of today. Yes, I said taking advantage. Last week was something special. I really think, because it's gonna be a hard one to top for me. So last week, if you didn't catch last week's, we did. Last week was Copper Craft. Yes. If you caught us last week, you would know that was one of my favorite ones. And no, it's not just because it's from Michigan, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. So we're gonna see what Russell's does today. But Bo, what were you saying about the different versions of Russell Reserve?
Yeah, so Russell's has a few different releases. They have a 6-year, a 10-year. This is a single barrel, and then I think they have a rye single barrel, and then a regular rye as well. So then they get their really expensive bottles and whatnot too. Like they're like the top, you know what I mean? So yeah, for the most part, that's what kind of what Russell's has out there right now.
Okay. And right now we're doing the single barrel.
We got the single barrel here, yep.
Yeah. So a few weeks ago we talked about the difference between the single barrel and some of the others. So just to reiterate, to tell the people the difference with the single barrel. Yeah.
So I think we was talking about a few weeks ago was the Four Roses. Right. And, and they're still in process. I believe is a bit different than Russell's here, but basically what the single barrel is, you got that one single barrel, and that was still aged, all that good stuff in that barrel within that time frame, and that's where this port comes from.
Right.
That's where some bourbons you have. Well, that port comes from various different barrels and whatnot.
Right.
So hence the name single barrel.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So like a mixed bag of things, but this one is all from one source.
Right.
So yeah, I'm excited to give it a try. I've actually never had Russell's Reserve. Just like last week, I had never had Copper Craft, and I was pleasantly surprised. So today we're going to break into this. I did. Did you? I know we mentioned it last week about maybe mixing something with the Copper Creek. So we didn't mix anything on the show. Copper Craft, I'm sorry. We didn't mix anything on the show, but later on that week, though, I went ahead and finished off that bottle. And I did add some ginger ale and some ice to it. And when I tell you,
what kind of ginger ale you use?
What is that? Canada Dry, I think. Yeah, Canada Dry. Is it a specific one you think that works better, or?
If you're talking about ginger ale, I don't know, maybe just because I'm from Detroit and I like Vernors.
Yeah, for sure.
But to keep it really real, you wanna get a little ginger beer with it, like some old Jamaican style ginger beer.
Yeah. So people were talking about the ginger beer, and I've actually never had ginger beer. So yeah,
I'm not gonna say I don't know. Not everyone likes it. Yeah. You know what I mean? You ever had a Moscow Mule or something like that? Yeah. So ginger beer's in there. One of the ingredients in Moscow Mule.
Okay. Well, that makes sense though. Yeah, I might have to give it a shot. But yeah, I tried it with Canada Dry and a little ice. And it was stupendous. So we go break into this, and we'll go ahead and see how that goes. I'll let you hit it this time. Again, people, I know that we do this every week, and I'm not going to stop, even though I don't think it actually works. Mm-hmm. So let me give me a cool 2 fingers in there.
I remember it not working a couple times. My bad.
Man, right?
Well, younger though, young days.
A little younger.
It's a little younger back then.
Right. Let me see what it. Whoo.
Yeah, so remember, again, it's a single barrel, right?
Yes,
so it's going to be a little stronger. It's going to have it's going to have some more bite. Yeah. It ain't going to be super smooth.
Right, just after the smell of it. So, salud. Let's see what we got here. Oh, shit, yeah. Yeah, I wasn't prepared.
See, I think we get old
soft palate over here.
Yeah, soft palate over here.
Soft palate.
Because to me, but it's
good.
It ends with a little bite.
It is.
But I think it's real smooth.
It's smooth.
You know what I mean? And
so. Yeah, because it almost. This is kind of weird, I guess, but it almost disappears as soon as you taste it.
Yeah.
So that is okay. So it is a sting up front.
Yeah. So I think, my opinion about Russell's really is that it's kind of like an acquired bourbon taste almost. I think. There's some bourbons drinkers I talk to, they love it, and others like don't. Like I've never really seen a whole lot of middle ground on Russells.
Okay.
To me,
like
in my experience, it's either been I love it or I hate it.
Yeah.
And I like it. I just don't mess with it all the time.
It's definitely not bad. It took me by surprise. Obviously, if you watching me, you saw my face, so it did take me by surprise.
Beer face out there, boy.
Right. But the thing about it though, the bite is up front, and it does disappear after that. So it's pretty smooth because of that. But to be quite honest with you, there is a bite, but it tastes good though. Like there's some things that hit you hard and it's nasty at the same time. Like this does have it still has like some kind of a little bit of sweetness to it. Like still can taste the sweetness.
And you're gonna find that with most bourbons that are not rye, right? Yeah. Because when you have like a rye bourbon, it's gonna have more of like a smokiness almost to it, I guess. Gotcha. Whereas this, it's gonna be a little bit, taste a little sweeter.
Yeah, it tastes a little sweeter. Yeah. So it's not bad. I guess if we're gonna have a real quick conversation about it, yeah, you're probably right. The copper craft, I probably do like better. Yes, maybe because I got a soft palate. I'm not sure.
Over here, he wants all the toppings and everything, right?
Hey, but look though. Man. This is 110 proof bourbon, all right?
So it's only so sweet it's going to be.
It's only so sweet it's going to be, for sure though. But yeah, I actually like it though. I do like it. On a day-to-day basis, probably not. On a occasion like today, certainly. But on a day-to-day though, I would probably like something a little sweeter. This one I definitely would normally add some ice to, I believe. Just from tasting it. Yeah, so what? I got a soft palate. It doesn't matter because I drunk a lot of cognac in my younger years and it ruined my palate, so it's not my fault.
No, like I get it though. Like typically if I'm gonna have this, I'm not mixing it with anything, obviously. Okay. So yeah, I might drop an ice cube, maybe even two, or if I do mix it, I might put a splash of ginger beer, or water or something like that in there.
Yeah, but for sure.
Yeah, I'm not about to put like Coke or nothing like that in.
Right, not in there. No, I think something like this, the Coke would definitely destroy it. Yeah. I think it's got its own it's got its own taste, so you really don't need to add anything like that to it. I would just say a couple of cubes of ice. That's just for me. Almost the same as splashing some water in it, about the same thing. Now, with this though, I think we were reading earlier that it's distilled by Wild Turkey. So Wild Turkey obviously is another whiskey maker. That we hadn't even talked about that at all.
I mean, we could talk about Wild Turkey. I don't want to say I've never been a Wild Turkey fan. It just really hasn't came up too much in my circle.
Exactly right, and that's the thing. Yeah, I think that's the thing about it. Would you say, and this is way off the subject, but would you say a Wild Turkey is kind of in the lower range?
I'm not going to say that, right? Because
you don't want to disrespect it.
No, not even that. Because they do distill some things like there is some high brand Wild Turkey out there that's pretty good from what I hear.
Right.
I haven't had it, so I can't speak that intelligently on it. But the perception, like from the circles I come from, is like Wild Turkey, like that's what you're missing two front teeth. And you got overalls on, and you know what I mean. And you chewing on a piece of straw. That's like what we think. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But even though it ain't really like that, shit out the Wild Turkey.
Missing your two front teeth. I'm not even gonna touch that one, dog. Yo. Hey, look. So just thinking about that, like obviously Wild Turkey does the distilling. And so that's what we would consider to be the corporate entity.
Yeah, the corporate entity. Right, they took the process from Jimmy and Eddie here,
right?
Father and son.
Exactly.
And went on ahead and corporatized that. I'm gonna say corporatized.
Well, that's what corporate America does, though. Obviously, it makes money off of the backs of entrepreneurs, i.e., McDonald's. But speaking of corporations,
but before we go real quick, I gotta touch that McDonald's thing, though. So they are making money, millions and billions off of these cats that are working. Yes, those two brothers. Yeah. But I want to get it to this point, right? So you talk about the $15 minimum wage and stuff. I was mad as hell going to McDonald's this morning.
They didn't earn their $15?
No, dog. First of all, there's like, hey, we need you to pull up. I understand this morning it's busy. Like, okay, I get that, right? Then the first person come up was like, hey, you know, here's your smoothie. Like, I got no kind of drink at all.
That's not mine, right?
Yeah, you know. Then somebody else come up like, hey, here's your coffee. Like, no, mm-mm. Then they finally bring it out.
Yeah.
But then it was like it was the what you call it?
Sandwiches.
Yeah, some whatever they call them. But anyway,
Riddles or something.
yeah, I was like, this ain't it. Anyway, long story short, y'all they earned the 15 this morning.
I mean, what do you think about that though? $15 for a fast food worker. I
agree with it because the amount of money the company's making.
Yeah, on that strength. But then I think
from the service aspect,
yeah. Or maybe it could be like this. Maybe it could be that could be attainable. That you could make up to $15. Like if you do $15 worth of work. I mean, this is just like any other corporate entity where you start at the bottom and you know you get.
It ain't much more bottom though. You know, at that you talking about 15.
I mean, yeah, you could be on fries. You could be a cashier. Like those are levels
positions. Yeah,
positions. That's what I mean.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. So I don't think you should come off the street on fries making 15. You know what I'm saying? Like if you,
I think you should.
Not if they go keep giving you the wrong stuff.
No, okay. From the service aspect, yeah, I agree with you. From the amount of money that these companies is making is like
the amount of money
they should pay these cats 25.
It still should be merit based though, because like if I'm doing 3 racks of fries in 20 minutes and you only doing 1, I'm making the 15, bro. You not making 15, bro. You know what I'm saying? You don't see it that way?
No. I'm not saying I don't see it that way. I just see it the way it is, I guess. But
they making too much money to be giving them low down.
Yeah.
I got you, man. Hey, but like I said, that's a corporate American thing, corporate American decisions. Mm-hmm. And these days, when I say we, us as black folks, have been going to school a lot more and getting educations and getting paperwork to get into these certain positions. And when I say these certain positions, I am talking about corporate America. All right, so we're here. Black people are here in corporate America, but does corporate America even know that yet, though? Honestly, I'm still not sure. And when I say corporate, I mean like when you get real high up into the ranks of corporate America, it really is white male dominated. So not only are black men and some black women are kind of on a lower totem pole, I guess you would say. Some white women as well, because this is a white man dominated kind of genre. But like I don't think, how far away do you think we are from being actually in corporate America? Because I think we still don't have the voice that, like, you know, quote unquote white men have in corporate America.
No, we don't have the voice. And for those out there listening and watching and whatnot, I do have a corporate America 9 to 5. I'm gonna not say which organization,
right?
But I do have a corporate America 9 to 5. Mm-hmm. And when I got people reporting up to me, and I report up to whatever. So we are getting noticed. I'll say that, right?
Okay.
Because there's certain things that are going on where you have these affinity groups and whatnot. Yeah, that's cool. But then you see certain initiatives or buzzwords that are thrown around, directed at our group.
Right.
And I don't totally think that's all on the strength, like, of being like, hey, we really support this. I think that's really, on the CYA part of it, right? Just like kind of,
right.
We need to do this just to show we ain't, we are being inclusive.
Right.
But
not really.
Yeah, but I want to go there real quick too, right?
Okay.
So
we're talking about being inclusive.
Yeah, I want to talk about diversity and inclusion.
Okay.
So some folks just throw diversity and inclusion all together like it's one. And some parts of that, that is true.
Okay.
Like my company is diverse. Mm-hmm. It's not very inclusive at all, but it is diverse.
So
like,
you have one without the other.
Yeah, we do have folks in positions that are not white males, right?
Right. Okay.
Now, the way their word is being interpreted and how much they're put in charge of and responsible for, and when they're consulted about things, that's the inclusion part. That's not always there, right?
Right.
So let's in my area when something's going on up top. Mm-hmm. And it comes down to like, hey, what do you four think about this? Right. And Todd gets a half hour to talk, go through his thoughts, and then I get 7 minutes.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, that's not being inclusive right
exactly.
there. You know what I mean?
Right. So the diversity is there, but not
the diversity is there. The inclusion is not always there.
Okay.
Like hardly ever.
And look, this is probably a weird analogy here. But yeah, I watch a lot of TV, and yes, I used to watch Girlfriends when it came on. But I remember that what was the dude name? Fucking.
I don't watch Girlfriends.
I'm trying to think. He was the only dude on the show.
I don't watch Girlfriends.
Anyway, I've watched Girlfriends because I did, and I still do have. I do still like Diana Ross' daughter. What's her name? Tracy Ellis Ross. Yeah, I do like her. So I have watched Girlfriends a time too.
She's like 46 years old.
Dog, she older and she's still nice though. Yo, her mom's though. Diana's still looking all right.
Yeah, to be that age.
Yeah. Diana's still looking all right. Shout out to Motown. But yeah, anyway, he worked on a law firm. So similar to what you're saying, like. He got a position as a partner, you know what I'm saying? So that's diversity, right? But then when it came down to his input...
silent partner.
Exactly, right. So I understand what you're saying. And what's crazy about it is that people have been trying to be, and I use the air quotes, quote unquote, diverse. But at the same time, what does it really mean just to be, just to have a seat at the table? I guess that's another hot term that people been using. But you get a seat at the table. Well, what difference does it make if you don't have a voice, though? Like, you can be a senior VP of a company and never be able to actually change anything. Like, what's really the point? And I think that's where we're at now. So we've got in the room.
At that point, you're not creating policy. All you're doing is executing.
That's it, right? Yeah. So I could have did that from back here. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Right. So when you get in the room, I think, as far as corporate America goes, I think what black people have to do when we get into these positions is you got to kind of have, you got to know what you got to do when you get there. It's not enough just to get there. I guess that's the thing. It's not enough just to get there.
And and I think at times something that may be more important at times, depending on the situation, is once you get there, how to deal with it. And I don't mean the success. I mean all the bullshit that you're going to put up with day in, day out, constantly. Right. Because and I think you have to be very aware and cognizant before you go into it of what is required of this role. Right. Like, what do you guys expect of me, right? Yeah. Because
people ask that in the interview.
Yeah, most definitely.
You never really get the for real answer.
Because I want to know 100%. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, like when I'm at work, I'm at work. But once I leave, I'm gone. Right. The only job I've had where I'm on the clock 24/7 was when I was in the Army. Right. And I get that. Right. But once I leave said organization, I'm out. Yeah. If y'all don't catch me before then, you're gonna have to wait till tomorrow or on Monday. Right. And
if you don't do that though, you're not a team player.
Exactly. And
that's how you spin it. Player. Right? Exactly. Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Know those expectations. If that is the expectation of you to be on call all the time, then that's what you got to do.
You got to roll with it.
Yeah. But if they don't tell you that, then that's when you need to push back and draw those lines in the sand, like, hey, this is what's happening, because that's what it's gonna be.
And see, and that's the thing when we do things like that, because it seems like it makes sense. It only makes sense. It's common sense, right?
When you become angry, you become hostile, aggressive,
and that's the thing, though. It's like that concept is what holds a lot of black people in check.
You're not supporting the team.
Exactly. Yeah. So then you start thinking that, and then you stop doing the things that matter to you, right? Mm-hmm. So you would normally want to say something about this process, but then if you say something about it, you go get addressed as this angry black man. So you don't want to do it only because there is one other bigger prize that you have in mind. So let's say that you feel like you a senior VP now, or no, you a VP now. You want to be a senior VP, right? So you know that if they gauge you any kind of way, it's gonna stop your progress from getting to that. So that will stop you from making those and it travels. And that'll stop you from trying to make those policies that made sense for you and the people that look like you, but you don't do it because you're scared you not to get the position.
It's kind of like you damned if you do, you damned if you don't, right?
Definitely.
Me, I've always been a person of action. You know what I mean? So
right.
I'm gonna do it. You know what I mean? I'm just not gonna sit back and But that being said, you don't always have to be the Hulk smash dude at work or whatnot, right? You don't have to be that.
Right.
I mean, there's other ways that you can kind of legally do some things to give you that breathing room if it gets to that point.
But see, the thing is though is that generally nobody has been in corporate America before us. So who gonna tell us that? You know what I'm saying? You gonna react how you gonna react.
We talked about 3 or 4 weeks ago, whatever, about mentors.
Yeah, and that's where they're important,
man.
crucial,
and just if you're in a position in corporate America, be it a black woman or a black man, reach out to some of these young cats, be it a black woman or a black man.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying, you ain't got to coddle them, nothing like just kind of, you ain't even got to give them just kind of put them on game a little bit and help them kind of figure it out for themselves.
Little heads up.
You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's kind of like the bumper rails in bowling, dog. Like at first, like you just want to give them a little, cause you know what your goal is. So you see the pins at the end. So this is just a little help to keep you out of the gutter. After that, though, take the training wheels off. What they say. But you just don't want to be like, I definitely don't want to be the one, and I say that even with this, what we have going on, like doing a podcast and that kind of thing. Anything that I know, like up and coming podcasters, like on the broadcast or the production tip, like when people reach out to me, I'm always willing to give out free information, which I got to stop doing that and start charging some of these people. But I feel like if I know, it's almost, and I don't know if this is a black thing, but it's almost like my duty to let them know, because they may not get this information from nobody else. You know, everybody not in that position, because like everybody else, it seems like they are privy to information and we not.
I think it is our duty, though. You're in a situation. I'm in a situation where we can do that. And I look back when I first went into corporate America, like, and just how shocked I was by some things. So imagine if you're a white male working your Monday through Friday, you're 9 to 5. You're young. This may be like your first corporate job or whatnot. There's going to be some nervousness there with you. Like I get that. Yeah. But once you look around and talk to folks, everywhere you look, you see people that look just like you.
Certainly.
Everywhere, no matter where you go.
Right. No, true that.
Now, black male, young black male, first corporate, 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. You may struggle, maybe be some anxiety, and you look around and you see, even in 2019, like, and I'll get into this a little more with my organization. You see no one like you, right? And I think the worst thing in the world, I don't want to say the worst thing in the world, but
pretty bad.
Yeah, pretty bad thing. Pretty bad thing is to be in that situation and to see especially another black male, but another black person there, and then have them not give you the time of day, and then look around and just chit chatting with Ty and Natalie and whatnot.
Timothy.
Like, dog, you know what that does to your psyche? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
oh no,
like damn, like you really got no one to go to.
And when you said that, I swear, dog. When you said that, I went back to a situation I think I mentioned in my previous corporate experience, and I think that's so true about like. White people come in and, like you said, everybody is a new job. It's corporate America. It's a little scary for everybody if you've never been in that situation. Even if you have been in that situation, new offices, new corporate settings are always a little anxious because you know that every corporate setting is different. And when you come in there, you already on the outside looking in because these corporations or this corporate America, this section of corporate America already has their culture. You're stepping into their culture. So it's shaky for everybody. So even white people. But like you said, they get to look around. They see others that look like them. They can fall in place a little bit easier. We come in not so much. It may be none, you know what I'm saying, or it's one or two. And what you said hit the nail on the head, though. Like when you come in there and it's something that look like you and they don't even. I ain't saying you ain't got to be my best friend because we black. No. Trust me, you don't have to be my best friend.
Hey, good morning. Coffee's over here, bro. Yeah. Every Tuesdays we do this.
Hit me to something.
Got you.
Yeah, hit me to something. Because just because we black, you might not be my kind of black people. So it's cool. Like, it's okay. But you got to put me hip to something. And I say that to say that I had a similar experience in my in a previous corporate America experience. And it was just like it was me. And then I had a superior who was a black dude. We was the only two black males on the whole team. Like when I got there, it was weird because like I'm cool. You know what I'm saying? So like I kind of get cool with a lot of people. So I didn't feel X'd out or nothing, but I already knew that it was going to be like all white people. I knew that. But then when I seen one, like, okay, we got one with some power, all right? And I'm not saying I need to hook up, but I feel like, maybe I'm doing too much, but I felt like he was supposed to do a little bit to give me heads up on things. Like, I don't need you to, get me out of trouble or pull strings or nothing, but I just need you to give me the heads up because this is a new corporate environment for me, and obviously you've been here. So you can be like, hey,
just give me my left and right limits.
That's it, though.
Boom.
Like, hey,
everything in between is on me, but yeah,
yes.
you know.
And I will tell you that though. It was one. I'm sorry. So it was two. It was two dudes that was in that were superiors to me. One of them ended up leaving. I will say that I forgot about him because he left at the beginning, but he did hit me to some things. Like we rarely talked on the floor, right? So one day I'm in the bathroom and he coming out and he hollered at me like. He like, you know, I'm such and such. He's like, yeah, you the new guy. I'm like, yeah. And he was like, he gave me a couple of things. He told me a couple of people to avoid, right? And then he told me like, he know where I'm from, but like once I hit that door, like you probably should take your hat off. He's like, they not gonna say nothing initially, but trust me, they documented. He gave me the heads up, and I was like, "Damn, that was trill." Because he didn't have to say that. I'm thinking everything cool. They not necessarily saying that, but they probably are like, "Yeah, look at this, look at this nigga." Like I'm gonna keep it honest with you, but like I thanked him for that though, for giving me the heads up. He ended up leaving, but then the one dude who was still there, like, never gave me the heads up on nothing. And I know it's not his job to do that, but it kind of is his job to do that. Though. Like
unofficially, you know, one of those unwritten rule.
Exactly. Yeah, I would think so.
It's our duty to look out for each other in that situation. And I actually went with the same organization. I actually turned down a position based on my experience, and some of this had to do with the geographic location of where this place was at.
Okay.
Right. But then, you know, working with, I was out there for like, you know, 2 or 3 weeks to kind of like, I was going to relocate out to this place.
Yeah, I remember.
Right, yeah. And it's just like, these people were, I mean, the nicest people ever. Like, I got nothing bad to say against these folks. Yeah. Like, you go to a situation where, you know, you just don't feel comfortable.
Yeah,
like,
just not comfortable.
You just don't feel, and I don't want to use the word comfortable because that's a dangerous word too. But, you know, it's just where like, dog, this really ain't me.
Just don't feel like you fit in.
This is not vibing like at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's definitely vibing.
Yeah, and I realized that, and I just had to come back and it was like, hey, you know, I can't do this because of X. Like, I really can't. Yeah. And I remember I would send y'all pictures like text, like, hey, look at this. You know? Yeah.
But, we were kind of like,
and it just.
And then we tried to evaluate it by saying, but the money. and sometimes it ain't about the money.
No, and it's. I'm a person. Ain't nothing wrong with liking money. I like money.
Oh, for sure.
But sometimes it ain't about the money, dude. Like for real. And that was one of those situations.
Yeah,
it was not about the money.
It just ain't worth it sometimes. And like you will learn it, I think, in corporate settings. And I think the corporate, dog, I'm about to make this whole little triangle here. I think corporate America is kind of like school and the military, right? And what I mean by that is that I think when you go into either one of those, any of the three, you better have a plan. Like, if you go into corporate America without a plan on like what you really want to do, corporate America is going to use you as a cog in the wheel. That's what it is. Like, it's a machine. Like, it really is. If you don't go in with an idea of what you want to do, like, for instance, if you don't have some kind of dream or passion on the side that you are using your corporate America funding to fund so you can eventually move off into your own, then you are going to get trapped. If you're not going into corporate America trying to get to a certain position that benefits you and the ones around you, then you are going to get trapped. I mean, it's a machine, bro. Like, don't ever get it twisted. These are some good opportunities. You get some good positions. You get some good salaries. But at the end of the day, corporate America is an entity, though. Like, it is going to use you just as any cog in the wheel if you don't have a plan of your own. And that's just like school. If you're going to school without a plan to pay for it, you lose in the end. Like, you really do. If you go in the military, I ain't gonna say you lose, but you get lost in the sauce because it's a machine. You know what I'm saying? Like, you really are just a part to the machine, and especially when you black. No, it keeps rolling wrong. Like, people say this like for real, and I think this is the truest statement ever. Is that it's two things, dog. That after you die in a corporate American setting, like, it's only gonna be 2 listings, dog. It's gonna be one for your job and one for your obituary. Like, they don't care. Like, it's gonna keep moving, bro. Like, it's not gonna stop. So if you don't go in with a plan,
I'm sorry,
it's gonna be a problem. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think that's one of the funniest, sad things, but I think it's funny too.
It's true too.
How if something really happened like outside of work, and they act like they're so concerned at times. And don't get me wrong, there are those few cases, those outlier cases where they really are concerned.
Yeah.
But for the most part, oh man, Carl, I'm so sorry to hear that. What happened? Is there anything I can do? Hey, can you have that spreadsheet to me in like the next 20 minutes, please? You know what I mean? That's
right.
Like, damn, what?
Exactly, right.
You know what I mean?
And you know what? I will say, and I guess, I guess I'm comfortable with talking about this corporate entity. But a few years ago when I was working for Comcast, and that's when I was in Colorado, when my mom's passed, I think not the corporate entity as a whole, but my team, you know what I'm saying, my small team of my small social media team, they were genuine. Like it was like 15 of us, you know what I'm saying? So they were genuine. I mean, they sent flowers and you know, some kind of basket to the house, you know, for my moms and everything. So
wicker basket.
Yeah, a wicker basket.
Wicker basket.
A wicker basket.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother show.
Yeah, that's all.
But yeah, so I think they were genuine. Comcast as a whole, though, I will say out of all the corporate settings that I've worked in, I think that Comcast has been. I think they've been on the up and up. You know what I'm saying? Like as far as inclusion. And diversity, and I only say that because while I was in Colorado, though, because when I was here, I worked in the call center, so I didn't have no contact with real corporate. Working on the social media team, though, we actually worked for corporate. So I would see they would fly the people out from Philly because you know that's where the corporate offices are, and like three of the VPs were black. One of them was a black lady, extra cool, bro. When I tell you that I met her and she told me that she used to date a guy from Detroit or whatever, so she was hip to Detroit people.
So
or
you
whatever.
still, and you're like, hold on, is that a good or bad thing? Like, you know what I mean? No, like if she used to date a guy from Detroit and you like,
oh, you still
like, hold up. Okay.
No, you silly.
No, you know, she might just every dude from Detroit is this now.
Yeah, exactly, right. But no, it wasn't that situation. It was cool because I met all three of them, and outside of our corporate emailing kind of thing, like I was able to reach out to them and ask them certain things about the corporate settings, things I could and couldn't do, people I shouldn't, and shouldn't communicate with, that whole thing. So they were all cool like that, and they were in position to where they not only were able to give me the information, but they were shot callers too. Like they made things happen. Like the lady, and forgive me, I can't remember her name, but she was really one of the vital decision makers for my team specifically, the social media team. So like it was always cool to be able to like really have that open door, policy with her, and for her to be actually empowered to make changes. You know what I'm saying? And I think that people in those situations definitely are what we need. But then you have people in those situations who won't communicate with you like that, though. Because I got some black people who would have been in that same situation, and we'd have never had a conversation, period. And I never would have been able to reach out to them without going through, some assistant or putting it into the helpline shit, something like that. Because some people get to a position and I hate to put it like this, but I guess they forget where they come from or something. I don't know. And again, I could be wrong for feeling like there's some kind of like you have to do that, but I almost feel like you do, like
no, yeah,
to a degree.
So it's this one cat, senior executive with the organization I'm with, black dude, and when I was working on like talent acquisition and things like that, this dude was super cool, man. Like always genuine, you know what I mean? Like you know the skit Key and Peele. When it's like President Obama, how he shake your wife with it. Yeah. Like, this is how it was, like, for real. Like, so, they have, at this point, I was new to this, this particular department, whatever you want to call it. So, I had the new folks, and they had this pretty dope little orientation type thing, and brought in some of the senior leaders, and they came up to you. And it was literally like that type of deal. Like, he was shaking hands.
Right, shaking you like that.
He was like, and he dabbed me up.
Yeah, my man, like,
exactly.
Yeah, and how to switch it up.
And like we talked about earlier, what's understood don't always have to be said, right?
True that.
And like, at that point, we just know he was cool. He gave me his car and whatnot. Like, and to this day, like, if I got a couple, I'll just hit him up. Yeah. And he just send his little 2 or 3 lines of advice or whatnot. Let me how it goes. Stay in touch.
And that's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
That's necessary. And a lot of people feel like, I did what I had to do to get to where I'm at. Like you can do the same. But I feel that, dog. But for us, it's a little different, dog. Especially in corporate America, for us, I hate to keep putting it like that, but I almost do feel like there is an obligation.
Dog,
it's an unspoken obligation.
You have to take that duty upon your shoulders in corporate America.
Yeah, for sure.
Black folks with black folks, and I'm not gonna say minority, I'm gonna say black folks with black folks.
Right, because we get lost in the sauce when we start saying that.
Yeah. Like, dog, just even if it's just like 5 minutes, a week or whatever, just take some time, some of these younger cats or whatever, and just
don't get me wrong though. Take the time and effort in the ones that deserve it. Because some of us just in there.
I wasn't even gonna go there.
But some of us just in there. But it's true though.
But you can say that about white folks. You can say that about Hispanic. You can say that about everybody though. We say that about us all the time because that's what they want you to think about us though. You know what I mean?
I feel you.
Like
I just fed into it.
Yeah, that's that love and hip hop shit you be watching or whatever. See, that's what that is.
Love and hip hop.
So, that's what they call it.
Yes, it is.
So but anyway, man, just take the time. Like I said, you don't have to promote this dude and give them, quadruple bonus and nothing like that. Just say what's up, you know?
For sure.
And
break down a bottle of Russell's Reserve for them and shit.
Happy hour, like white folks do it all the time. Happy hour on Friday. Hey, dude, we're gonna be blah blah blah. Curl, you coming?
And I guess don't be afraid. And this is the thing too, because I think corporate America put us in that whole situation of inclusion. Don't be afraid. This is something that I noticed at the last corporate setting I was at. Don't be afraid to be the one where it's 2 or 3 black people in the office. Yeah. Don't be afraid to be the one to be like, just invite them. I know that you're scared that somebody gonna say, oh no, they're segregated. But sometimes you just need to have a conversation with these 2 black people. And that's it. Like, it's okay. Like, don't be afraid that just because you're doing that there's gonna be a whole outcry or some outbreak. Because sometimes you need that one-on-one because everybody is not gonna be able to communicate. I guess I don't have another way to say it. So everybody can't communicate with others around. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes we need to just have a black conversation, like for real.
I do it all the time, man. And they do come out and say that, y'all do it every day.
Every day.
Every day.
Right.
I go to my folks one time.
And it's
a thing. You know what I mean? No.
For real.
Come on,
they want to know what's going on. Like, what are the niggers?
It ain't none of your damn business. That's what's going on.
Right.
Just like you gonna tell me if I come up to your little circle. You know what I mean? You're like,
exactly.
Oh, hey, Carl, we're just having a little lunch here.
Right.
Which is your way of telling me to get the hell on.
Right. Hey, look, before we get out of here, though, man, obviously we're going to talk a little bit more about the bourbon, but, dog, I got to talk about this, man, since we're talking about corporate America. Dog, email thugging, bro.
Oh, man.
Yo, we got to talk about email thugging, bro. Look, so if you haven't worked in a corporate setting, then you obviously know somebody that worked in the corporate setting or you've seen some memes on Facebook, all right? But in real life, though, in the corporate settings, email thugging is real life, dog. People in corporate America will chop you up with an email that sounds so friendly, dog, but they really so conniving, dog.
They're at your guts.
At your guts, dog, for real. Like, without even... And that's the thing. See, and that's a whole nother thing, though. You're talking about black people getting into corporate America. I think it's almost our duty, though, people who've been in corporate America, to hit people who just getting into these emails, bro.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, man.
Yeah, for sure.
I just sent y'all several examples.
Yes.
But you like to
I've had a couple.
Yeah. They make it sound so friendly.
Yeah.
Whatnot. But if you really read into it and look at some of the context behind it,
the context, for sure.
You know what they're telling you. You know what I mean?
Right. You know exactly what they're saying.
Like, I get an email probably once a month from my IT team. Mm-hmm. Hey, you need to clean out your mailbox, whatnot, because I keep all them emails. I keep all them receipts, boy.
Say keep a receipt.
Yeah, like I got an external hard drive for emails because
that's the thing.
They will put up something from 7 months ago.
Yes.
Where like, oh well, you said blah 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 blah.
Right.
You know what I mean? But however they want to word it, but protect yourself.
That's a whole nother thing. I know a few episodes ago, I think we mentioned something about financial literacy and people getting hip to their finances. I think this is something that's important too, though. Actually, learning how to navigate corporate America. Though. Like, it sounds so petty. Like, it sounds like it's something that you don't need to learn. But I think for kids, especially a lot of kids going to school and some of their first jobs, it may be at the lower tier, but it's in a corporate setting though. And I think a lot of kids need to learn hey, don't nobody steal our title though. I think maybe we should write a book though, for real, about how to navigate corporate America while black, dog. For real, like it's a thing.
It is a thing.
The coding, decoding emails should be chapter 1.
Yeah. I don't even. I got so many email examples, man. Just.
Yeah. So let me just give one. I'm gonna share one. If you want to share one, you can as well. So this kind of goes back. I'm gonna go ahead and put the whole situation on blast. But yeah, in the last corporate setting I was in, I think I mentioned this to y'all. I did casework and stuff, right? So I did casework, and for whatever reason, we were doing a system integration. So like if you looked at one system, it looked like I didn't create the case, and the other one, you clearly can see that I created the case and worked it through. You know, as my duty pertained, whatever. But what happened was I pulled up to work. Before I even get to my laptop to plug it in, I got, we got Becky.
Natalie.
Right, Natalie, Becky, Susan. But anyway, she run up and she like, Q, have you checked your email? I'm like, obviously not, because I haven't even sat down yet, so nah. But what happened was she had went into the old system, the one that hadn't got integrated. And it looked like I interacted with a customer and didn't create any case. But what happened, she didn't look at the new system to see that I had done everything. So she had already sent me a couple of emails about me not completing my task, basically. But really, I'm not mad about that. Whatever, I don't care. But what kind of pissed me off though was that she CC'd my superior, which was the black guy I was talking about. Now, even that part didn't piss me off. But what pissed me off, I ain't gonna say pissed me off, but it concerned me, is that even after we had our little words or whatever, I let her know that I understood where she was coming from in our setting. You know what I'm saying? Like, she didn't know how to take that, but I let her know. Like, you know what? I understand where we are with it. It's no problem, but I just know how you are, basically, you know? But my whole thing was that if you CC my superior who is black, dog, I felt like that was a prime opportunity for him to come to me and say, look, I got that email. I know it's some kind of discrepancy, but I just want to let you know that that's the kind of thing that you need to look out for. So just to CYA, just to cover your ass, make sure that everything is documented, because they will be emailing you like this. I felt like that conversation was necessary, but he never had it. And I felt like, damn, at that point, like, I'm fighting by myself. Oh, okay. What's the point of having this?
That's a hell of a feeling, ain't it, man? Just to know, like, you by yourself. In a building full of people, you by yourself.
Duh, for real. Oh. So after that moment, I was like, man, I knew that whenever I get into a position, if I'm ever in a corporate position, which honestly, I don't know, like the whole corporate American thing is just, it's so disheartening. You know what I'm saying? But if I'm ever to be in that corporate setting again, I feel like it's my duty. I owe it to the next one down. Like if it was me, if I was a supervisor and that happened to one of my employees, I definitely would have addressed it. Like, hey, I got that email. Like he never even addressed the fact that he got the email. Like, period. So like I'm gonna come to you and be like, yeah, I got that email. Like I see that everything really was done correctly, but I just want to give you a heads up that like if you mess up, you know what I'm saying, that this is how it goes down. So be sure that you tight. I feel like I gotta have a little 2-minute conversation, real quick, about a water cooler. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever. We ain't gotta put it into the. We ain't gotta schedule it as a meeting or no one-on-one, and then just like real quick at the water cooler. Like, hey, so I seen this, do that, and the third. Like, hey, keep your head on the swivel.
And that's an interesting situation from the standpoint, like I'm not taking your leader's side, but that's an interesting like situation he's in as well, right? So. You're this manager or this director or whoever you are, and you have a direct report that you just received an email about that they didn't do this, and that, right? Even though you know they did, right? You know, there's a discrepancy going on somewhere, right? So now you're thinking, okay, now like he should have done, like you just said, even if it was at the water cooler, just kind of put you aside. Hey man, we don't even worry about it. It's cool, you know. Just at least give you that.
Yeah, give me something. Acknowledge it.
Yeah, but there's been situations like. I've been a part of, and it's crossed my mind like, how are they going to view me when I go to either discipline or, not do anything about or congratulate or whatever, my direct report who looks just like me.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's like almost they want you to be tougher on your own kind, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I got hit to that game too. Like they will indirectly come at you about that. You know what I mean? Well,
wow.
Kareem has showed the history of blah 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 blah. You know what I mean?
Right. No, straight up.
But yeah, and they'll come at you like that, right? And they'll be like, and so how I kind of have combated that is like, yeah, same situation as like Todd and Julie and Timothy. I got to talk to all of them, right. And then it's kind of like, oh, okay, so
it's a tight position.
Yeah, you know what I mean, like, and
you gotta at least acknowledge it.
No. I'm totally with you. Yeah. I'm saying it's a tight position, but once you learn from that and learn how to deal with it, now I'm at the point where like, I just don't care. Like, yes. Like, I've seen it happen. They go out and they help each other all the time. Like, I've seen it. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, like, I don't feel guilty one bit about doing it myself now. But I think that's a level you almost have to get to, like, your experiences and whatnot, and learn how to navigate, who these people are and what situations are, and read that context that's behind those actual words.
Right, for sure. And every corporate setting is different. You know what I'm saying? So, obviously, you can't have a blueprint for everyone. Right. There are some things that are consistent though. Trust and believe that anybody on your level, like whatever level you're at corporate America, anybody on your level is going to be willing to sell you out for the move up. Just know that that's principle. That's just what it is.
So what was that conversation that you guys said? Hey, can you really be friends with somebody from work?
Yeah, I know, right?
I was like, hell no.
And now that's why you say that.
In corporate America, hell no, I don't think you can. Like, as a black man or a black woman for that matter, I don't think you can be. Unless it's another black man or black woman. Because I simply just don't trust them folks, man. Like, I've been in too many situations where it had, you think this person is okay, you think this person, and next thing you know, boom, like, when it comes down to it.
Corporate America is all about the come up though, and like it's like the carrot bait. You know what I'm saying? It's always got you chasing something. So you do have to certainly be careful with any kind of those friendships or alliances, whatever you want to call it. Because even alliances, even like when you think you're on the same page, somebody will sell you out for the promotion. Like it happens, dog. And I think that the deadliest person in corporate America is the person I can't think of another word for it, so I'm just gonna say it like it is. There's nothing scarier than the person in corporate America who don't give a fuck. Like, cause when you don't give a fuck,
nothing
like
to lose, huh?
Nothing to lose, dog. Like for real. So you don't really care who you step on or what you do to get to whatever it is that you want.
There are people like that out there.
It is, and those are the scariest people in corporate America, dog. Look, we've been rapping a long time, so I guess we better wrap it up in a minute. But before we get out here, I do want to ask you about this. So we're talking about black people in corporate America. At this point, do you think that black women have a better position in corporate America than we do at this point?
In my experience, no.
No?
No.
And that's the narrative they try to feed us, though.
I mean, yeah, on a national level, yes. But in actuality, in my experience, no.
Right.
And I say that because I've been fortunate and lucky enough to where there's been situations where, my boss or, my skip level boss is a black woman. And it's happened several times where they did, really looked out for and I'm not saying like cover or do this or, but just really trying to put you on game and trying to teach you things. Yeah, right? So, sure. And them being vilified for that, what I mean? Just like, hey, if you're going to do that for Carl, you got to do that for everybody and stuff, And them actually going to bat for me, like, and that's where I got it from. It was like, well, I saw Todd tell Jimmy, blah, 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 but you didn't say anything about that.
And that's crazy that you got to do that, though.
Yeah.
It's crazy you got to do that, but it's necessary.
Yeah, you have to do that, though. But, like, I can definitely see where that argument is coming from, because, black women, like, I think at times are overlooked. Yeah. It's almost like I've heard people say that black men are the white males of black people or whatnot, whatever. And like I get where some of that comes from, but if it just really comes down to, man, that we try to look out for each other, whether it be male or female.
Yeah, for sure.
That's it, without really just trying to bang each other all the time, you know what I mean? But really on some professional type level, you know what I mean? Yes, right? that will help, you know what I mean? But I've seen in situations where black females have come and looked out for me and actually had my back, and they were like literally like reprimanded for that. Yeah, you know what I mean? Sure. So I get
trying to look out, and that's the weird thing. And I think there's a lot of black women in some high positions too, and I'm pretty sure that's a tough spot to be in, because especially for a woman. I mean, women are nurturers just period by nature, and they probably gonna want to look out, especially for a black male. And I think that's where it gets weird, because then you start thinking that it's something else to the game, but really it's not that though. It's just a woman trying to look out for, you know, the men in her community. Mm-hmm. Like, that's really what it is. And the unfortunate thing is that we spend so much time, I know we've talked about this before, we spend so much time trying to be together, you know, integrated, that now it's like if we have any inkling of any idea of how to do something separate, then like, oh no, you know, oh no, what's going on? Like, we gave you what you wanted, now you're trying to be separate. But at the end of the day, we're still in a society that we still have to be the first ones to look out for each other, and that's unfortunate. And this is no knock against you know, white people, because there's some white people that's, you know, that's truly allies. So don't get me wrong when I say this, but for the most part, still, I think it's our obligation to look out for us.
Yes.
We are us.
I mean, everybody else does it.
So, I mean, like, again, we mentioned this already and shit, but the women, the black women in those positions, man, that's a tough spot to be in. So I commend them for even being able to hold that down, because you're talking about being in a position of like power for real. Yeah. And well, it could be power for us. I think that's the one thing. It could definitely be power for us, and maybe that's what scares corporate America. I don't know. Like, this is gonna be my last question for real on the way out, dog, because this is gonna be the question we're gonna end it on. But do you think that corporate America is really ready for a black infrastructure? I know, right?
Well, first, define what you mean by black infrastructure. What you mean?
Where black people are considered to be, like, right now when you think of corporate America, you think of a old white man. Mm-hmm. Could you ever think of a corporate America that's considered being like an old black man? Like that being what the face of corporate America is. Like, it's funny because it's been for so many generations. An old white man has just been the face of corporate America. Even when we talk about all these whiskeys and bourbons, a lot of those are old white men who are CEOs or founders or, you know, distillers. Like, that face is, like, generally an old white man. Like, even in the Russell's Reserve category, like, you still think of, you know, an old white man. So, like, do you think corporate America ever get that identity change? Like,
no, from two aspects. You know, you said become an old black man first. I mean, first, no, because corporate America hates everything old. You know what I mean? Everything old, right? And then a black man. I mean, no. Just because already, you know, and then you can walk into the office right now and receive several looks, not because we're just two debonair-looking young gentlemen, but because we are perceived as aggressive and hostile. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that has to change. That has to change from like here with people and here with people, and like that shit takes forever, dude.
And like, D.L. Hughley said that. He said the first place you got to be different in the white man's head is in his brain, in his mind. Yeah, how he sees you. Damn, that's deep though. And like that's larger than paradigm shift. I mean, that's just, I mean, because paradigm shift can't even happen without that.
Yeah, you know, and
perception.
Exactly right. Yeah. And then from the, you know. And then the person that's always on top of them, they're always going to try to deflect and things like that. Well, this and that and this and that, you know, because they're benefiting, right? They don't want anybody to attack them.
You want to mess up that benefit.
You know, So, you know, I've been reading a lot lately about how these old white men that have been in charge for so long, they're starting to deflect to, like, the Asians and whatnot. Mm-hmm. You know, whether that be Chinese or Korean or Indonesian or whatever. Okay. But it's saying, oh, well, you know, they're making more, their corporations make more money than ours, and they're doing this and blah, blah, blah. And there's some truth to that. But, you know, they're playing that old trick again, man. It's like, everybody's focusing on us right now. Let's get him to fight him. And then leave me out of it. I'm going to sit back here and prosper again.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So, it's such a science to it, man, you know.
That's been America's philosophy forever. If you don't understand America's philosophy, though, that's really as simple as it gets. I know it looks complex and you know, on the exterior, but the finite workings of it is that you pretty much intervene into something, become like the diplomat, you know what I'm saying? Put each side towards each other and then benefit from whatever altercation they got going on. Like, this has been America's way for a long time, dog. Like, unfortunately, and then once you start really figuring out that thing, it do kind of make a lot of stuff senseless. Like, it make it senseless. Like, man, why even do certain things? But at the end of the day, you still gotta be comfortable with knowing that anything that you do right now will probably not benefit you. And I think this is our generation is one I think that's lost on, though, because the generation before us, I think they knew that. They were willing to put in work.
Because we live in that age of instant gratification now.
Instant gratification, exactly.
Now. Yeah.
Exactly. Now, the people before us, like, they did things knowing that the result they would probably never see in their lifetimes. Like, us in this generation, I don't know how many of us are actually willing to do some
10%?
things. Right. Yeah, about 10%. That you may not ever benefit from. Like, you got to realize that you may be doing something right this moment, like right this second, for your grandchild. Like, you got to be comfortable with that, though. Like, you can't just be. I say this all the time, dog. It's the microwave's fault, dog. If it wasn't for the microwave, right? Because before the microwave, everything was conventional, just like the oven, right? But then once you've been able to microwave a turkey for 45 minutes and it's done in the microwave, it's like everybody thought that everything should happen instantly, though. I think that's where instant gratification came from. That's just my theory. Anyway.
The microwave.
Right, the microwave. You want to pour you a little more down.
What about those little rewind tapes you used to have for the VCR and whatnot? That super fast rewind.
No, it was super. Yeah. What the hell was in those things?
No, I don't know, but them boys used to go.
Rewind
man.
fast. Yeah. Hey, look, some of y'all watching right now probably don't even know what a VCR is.
What is these dudes talking about?
Yeah, possibly a VCR or a house phone. Probably don't know what either one of those are.
Don't let me go back to the Betamax. But what was the Laserdisc? Remember Laserdisc?
Oh wow, that was the thing right after.
That was right after VHS. Right after VHS was
Laserdisc.
And then they had like TiVo or something. No, was it TiVo?
TiVo, that was a record. That was like
that was the first like on demand. Yeah,
that was the first DVR, dog, for real. Did you know that people still have TiVo?
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. I know none of y'all know what TiVo is. I don't even know.
I don't know either.
Russell's Reserve, 110%. That's what make you start talking about all kind of random stuff.
The microwave. That's what.
Right, the microwave. Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Salute, man. Russell's Reserve, man. Make sure you check it out. 110 not 100%.
110% alcohol proof. Over here. We about to die.
Right, we about to die. 110 proof, man. 55% alcohol, dog. This is some good stuff. Like I said, it does have a bite on the beginning. I have to say I got a soft palate, so I do like a sweeter bourbon. But this is still good, though. I really like it, only because of the smoothness of it.
Next week, you go see Crown Peach over here, okay?
Wow. Honey Jack. That one that you love. Yeah.
Honey Jack, yeah.
Now, we'll say that, though. The Peach Crown is horrible, dog. Yes. The only other Crown that I have actually really drank and I really like is cool, and it's probably going to be funny to you, but it's the vanilla one, dog. The vanilla one, like, because it's not overpowering. The vanilla is not overpowering.
See, white folks said it again, see? Vanilla. They didn't got to him, y'all.
Wow. Yo, that little man, we out of here, dog. Make sure that you do follow us on IG and on Facebook. That's Beers, Bourbon, Whiskey. And also hit that hashtag, man. Everybody loves BBW, all right? Till the next time, man, we will check you out next time. And maybe we'll do some scotch next time. I don't know. We're going to think about it. You know what I'm saying? We got 2 more weeks left in this season. So be sure to leave your comments. Let us know what whiskeys and bourbons you would like us to try for next season, dog. But to the next time, man, you already know what it is, man. Beers, Bourbon, Whiskey. Got my man Bo in the building. And of course, man, it's your boy Q Lewis, man. Live from the 48205, man. Peace out, y'all.